Laker Nation, what's going on? I'm your host, Jimmy Crowther, breaking down all the latest news and rumors surrounding the Los Angeles Lakers here on Chat Sports. And today, we're going to start out with a free agent, J.R. Smith. Could he be headed to the Los Angeles Lakers? Now, let's remember J.R. Smith is a free agent right now after he got waived by the Cleveland Cavaliers this past offseason. He really just didn't play that much this past year for the Cavs due to injury, and because they were in full-on tank mode, they just didn't need him as a veteran on the court. But he was spotted playing in the Lakers facility with Anthony Davis, LeBron James, former Los Angeles Laker and Cleveland Cavalier Jordan Clarkson was there as well. J.R. Smith's wide open to be taken by any team. Could he end up on the Los Angeles Lakers? Well, let's look at his stats from just 2 years ago, because last season, like I said, he didn't really play that much. The stats didn't really mean anything. But 2017-2018, he was still playing 80 games for the Cleveland Cavaliers. He was an established role player, a good veteran for that team. Numbers don't really catch your eye. 8.3 points per game, 2.9 rebounds, 1.8 assists. We know what J.R. Smith is at this point in his career. He's going to go try to get a bucket. He's going to try to score. But he was still a good three-point shooter at 37.5%. So if you put him out on the floor, he's still going to knock down threes. I think that's what he's going to be, is just a catch-and-shoot player at this point in his career. He's coming up on 34 years old. I still think he has a place in the league. Maybe it's with the Lakers, maybe not. But you got to remember, 2016, that's when he was making his money. That's when they won a championship over there in Cleveland with LeBron James at the helm of the team. And you put them side by side, this is where JR really thrived as a role player. 12.4 points per game, 2.8 rebounds again, rebounds and assists. That's not what JR does. But in 2016, when the Cavs won the title, he shot 40% from three, and that is the second best three-point percentage of his entire career. Of course, this is when he was playing with LeBron, who at the time was putting up 25 points per game, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 31% from three. Hey, maybe they want to team up again in Los Angeles. Maybe LeBron's like, yeah, let me get my guy back. Now, one thing that I think J.R. Smith could do is really bolster the bench. Let's say he comes into Los Angeles. Obviously, they would have to make some roster moves to make it happen. But let's say he comes to L.A. The bench looks a little bit better right now. You see what you could have out on the court. Of course, I'm assuming in this position that Rondo is starting, but that can be messed with. In this one, I got Alex Caruso, who we'll talk about a little bit later. Stay tuned for him. Quinn Cook, J.R. Smith. That's your three up front. It's kind of a three-guard lineup, even though JR can play the three. Absolutely, he can guard a lot of forwards. But that's three guys that can knock down a three-point shot, plus Kyle Kuzma, who's a good scorer. And then JaVale McGee, again, assuming Dwight Howard is starting here. That's a pretty solid bench. That just might be an underrated bench next season, should J.R. Smith come in and be healthy and be ready to actually play for the Lakers. And if you think that he should, I want you to type Y for yes. So here's my question for you, Laker Nation. Should the Lakers make a roster move to sign J.R. Smith? Type Y for yes, type N for no. There's a lot of guys on this team who are kind of, Jared Dudley, what does he really bring besides what's off the court? Guys like Troy Daniels, could J.R. Smith be more effective than him? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But if the Lakers want another shooter and they want to add a veteran, they're not really worried about what J.R. Smith's problems are off the court, maybe you sign them. So if you think they should, type Y for yes, type N for no. After you place your votes, after you tell me what you think of J.R. Smith in the comments section, I want to make sure you subscribe to Chat Sports. We're continually growing. We're putting out all the greatest NBA videos, NFL videos, college football season's kicking off. So you're going to want to make sure you're subscribed. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV. It's going to be a fun NBA season, that's for sure. So let's move on to our next rumor. This one's about Anthony Davis and Dwight Howard. Has Anthony Davis been advocating for the Lakers to sign Dwight Howard? Is that why he's a Los Angeles Laker? Now, you got to remember Anthony Davis coming over from New Orleans, where he played a lot of the 4. He had to play some 5 because New Orleans didn't have the talent to really put a center in next to him. Rumor has it he doesn't want to play the 5 next year, and so he's like, hey, Lakers, go get me Dwight Howard. Here is what we know from Ramona Shelburne. She says, the reason that Dwight, of course, speaking of Dwight Howard, is a Laker is because Anthony Davis doesn't want to play the 5. He doesn't want to play against the big centers in the Western Conference. So we'll circle back around to the second half of that quote here in just a minute. Let's talk more about Dwight Howard. Now, got to remember he was bought out by the Grizzlies. I believe they looked to trade him, but nobody was really looking to take him on for the money he was actually getting, so now he's on a pretty team-friendly contract. He barely played for the Washington Wizards last season due to injury and a lot of other issues. Now, 2 years ago, he had a really productive season with the Charlotte Hornets. It was just kind of inefficient, and it really didn't help the team that much. Charlotte didn't really go anywhere. He looked good individually, but when you put him into the team system, he just didn't do that much for Charlotte. Now, obviously, the Lakers hope they get Charlotte Dwight rather than Washington Wizard Dwight, because last season, this is 9 games. The guy played in 9 games. He put up 12.8 points per game, 9.2 rebounds. So kind of a double-double threat when he was on the court. Didn't block shots, 0.4 per game in those 9. And then the field goal percentage at 62.3%. That's like, you can't really take that into consideration at all. But if Dwight's healthy, if he's engaged, if they get, even Charlotte Hornet Dwight Howard, that's better than Washington Wizard Dwight Howard. Now, this is kind of what I assume the starting 5 is going to look like next season. I know a lot of Laker fans are hot and cold on Rajon Rondo. Me personally, I'm pretty cold on him, not a big fan, but I think he makes sense in this starting 5. You go Rondo, Danny Green, LeBron James, and then your 2 big guys up front are Anthony Davis and Dwight Howard. And another thing to keep in mind here, Dwight Howard isn't going to play, 48 minutes a night. He's going to be splitting a lot of time with JaVale McGee. There is going to be some time where Anthony Davis is going to be forced to play the 5, whether he likes it or not. He's just going to have to man up and get over it. So you put him in there in the starting 5, take some pressure off of Anthony Davis, and it lets Dwight Howard take the beating from the big Western Conference centers that Ramona Shelburne was talking about. And when you mention those, these are the top 5 centers in the West. These are the kind of guys they're going to see, the Lakers that is, every single night. You got Nikola Jokic, arguably the best center in the league. You can make an argument for guys like Anthony Davis if you think he's a center. You can make an argument for Joel Embiid. But in the Western Conference, Jokic is the best center. And then you got a guy like Clint Capella in Houston. DeAndre Ayton's really coming into his own in Phoenix. Karl Anthony Towns is a top 5, if not top 3 center in the league. And then Rudy Gobert. I mean, look, Rudy Gobert isn't going to be like a banger down low. You're not going to have to worry about him in the low post. But it's still just another big guy that you don't want to see a guy like Anthony Davis, who struggled with injury, have to go up against. So that's where Dwight Howard comes into play. That's where he takes a lot of the pressure off of Anthony Davis's shoulders. And you don't really have to worry about him getting into as many injuries because of all the contact he would be taking. So now the question becomes, who should be the Lakers starting center next season? Now, you got to think, if Anthony Davis was advocating for Dwight Howard to be there, he's going to be the starting center on night 1. But JaVale McGee had an incredible season last year for the Lakers. Maybe he's your starting center. Maybe you think Anthony Davis should just start at the 5. Let me know in the comment section below who you think the Lakers starting center should be. Now, Laker fans, I know we're all waiting for the NBA season. We're all waiting to see LeBron and Anthony Davis and Alex Caruso out on the court for the Lakers. But while you're waiting, I know you're going to be watching the NFL games, especially this weekend. So do it all without commercials all season long. Use My TV Choice. You can do it all season long. You don't have to watch any more commercials during your NFL games. Go to chatsports.com/mytv. You can watch videos like this during the NFL game instead of all those annoying commercials that come up all game long. So that's chatsports.com/mytv. Go download My TV Choice right now. Now, I said I would talk about Alex Caruso, and we're going to talk about Alex Caruso here because AC was randomly, air quotes around the word randomly there, drug tested after a photoshopped picture surfaced of him all over social media. I'm sure you all saw it. We'll talk more about it in just a second. Now, Alex Caruso, let's remember, he saw a lot more playing time at the end of last season with the Lakers when they were in full-on tank mode. And he looked pretty darn good. I mean, he looked like an actual NBA player, no longer a G League player. And then he re-signed with the Lakers this summer. So he hit free agency. He did receive some interest from teams like the Golden State Warriors. But he ended up back in LA. He re-signed. He got a real deal. So now you think, hey, maybe he'll get some playing time. So he's probably been hitting the gym a little bit more, but not as much as this picture leads you to believe. And I'll admit, I was completely fooled. I thought this picture of the jacked Alex Caruso was real. And obviously the NBA did too, because they sent him a random drug test immediately after this picture came out on social media. So you can find the real picture on the Lakers Twitter. Alex Caruso isn't actually that big yet, but maybe one day. Now, last season, when he got some playing time. He played in 25 games, 9.2 points per game, 3.1 assists, 2.7 rebounds. He's kind of a, he's pretty versatile for a guy that you wouldn't expect to be versatile. And he shot 48% from three. Now, that's only on about 50 attempts. He only took 2 per game in the 25 games he played. But when he shot them, he would usually make at least one of them. So he's a pretty good three-point shooter in that. So, next year, I think a lot of people want to see Alex Caruso on the court more. I know I do. I know NBA fans on Twitter do. He's one of the most, for lack of a better term, memeable players in the NBA. The Lakers do have a lot of guards, though. They got guys like Danny Green. He's going to be the starting 2-guard next year. Rajon Rondo, he could start. He could come off the bench. Heck, I think there's a chance Rajon Rondo just disappears into oblivion this season. Quinn Cook is there, who they just signed, and I really like. I think he'll be a big player for them next year. And then you got guys like Alex Caruso and Troy Daniels. And I think Caruso can beat Daniels out of a real rotation spot. I think he should. I think he will. I like Alex Caruso next year. I'm excited to see him step on the court for the Los Angeles Lakers. I would say with his new body, but I don't think he's really that pumped up. So, last question here for you on today's show. Who will be the Lakers' most improved player next season? Maybe it's one of the new guys that came in. Maybe it's one of the guys that was on the team last year like Alex Caruso. But let me know who you guys think will be the most improved Laker next season.